What's going on, y'all? Welcome in. This is our first Sunday Snaps reaction show of the season. We do this every single Sunday. If I sound a little different or if I sound a little quiet, guys, okay, I'm at home. If you're watching on YouTube, yes, it may look like I'm in the Star Wars cantina. That's just a trick of, stream. It's a virtual trick. I'm at home. My wife is in Shreveport. She just shot a wedding. My kids are still asleep at 7 a.m., which never happens. So can you hear me if I talk like this, Aaron?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna try to keep it around this volume so I don't have kids climbing all over me during the show, because yesterday was an unbelievable day of college football and deserves to be treated with the appropriate amount of gravitas. I'm TBob. He's Aaron Murray. This is Snaps. Aaron, what's up, man? You did a great job on the Ole Miss call yesterday.
Thank you. Jackson Dart, man, 24-24 to start the game, broke a Ole Miss record. Was 2 away from breaking an FBS record if he was able to get the 26. So Ole Miss looks pretty legit. I know it was against Middle Tennessee State, but that's a really damn good football team. But I'm with you, man. Like, I remember with offseason, we looked at week 2 and said, like, oh, week 2 is a little bit of a downer week, but we got Michigan, Texas. So, like, oh, it's okay. We got a big brand football. Yesterday was amazing football all day long. So, happy to break it down for all the followers. Please go subscribe. We are so close to 20K. Like, I would love to get to 20K by tomorrow. Would be
push
sweet.
To 20K, guys.
Yeah,
please help us push to 20K.
And then also, too, for anyone that's watching, I just put out my Nico breakdown about 45 minutes ago. So that is out from his game. And I think I'm going to do Payne Thorne next for Auburn. I know Auburn fans want to break that one down. So I'll have that one out hopefully later this morning. And then I got about 8 more to go over the next couple of days. So be on the lookout for those ones.
So I feel like I watched a million games yesterday. The Auburn game is a little bit of a blind spot. I saw when it was 21-7, they're trying to score, but and the little bit of Auburn Cal that I did watch, Auburn looked like hot garbage.
Yeah.
With the amount of money that they put into that program to lose to Cal, and Jordan Hare, supposedly one of the most fearsome places to play, is
unacceptable.
Yeah. And it's about to get real loud.
Well, they were
just like it's pretty loud down here in Baton Rouge right now.
Yeah. Well, at least LSU got the win. So, there's I would say two mid-tier SEC teams with massive losses yesterday. Auburn losing to Cal at home, and then Kentucky getting absolutely throttled by South Carolina, which completely shocked me. So we'll break it all down. Alabama with a tight one over South Florida.
Well, let's just dive into let's just dive into Kentucky, South Carolina since we're here. It's not necessarily where I wanted to start because I got some bigger thoughts, but it's like Ricky says in Trailer Park Boys. I hate to say I told her so, but I told her so. Okay. I mean, I fucking tried to tell y'all so long that Mark Stoops is gaslighting all of Big Blue Nation. He's serving you excrement on a plate, telling you it's sausage, and everybody around you is saying that's sausage. And when you're like, guys, I think I'm eating shit. Like, it tastes bad. And everybody around you is like, no, that's the best sausage you're going to get. That is the best that you can do. You eat that plate of shit because it's good for you. And I'm sitting here like, hey, guys, that's a pile of shit. And thank God it is now writ large for everyone to see.
Yeah.
South Carolina was one of the big losers coming out of week 1. Everybody thought they fucking sucked. And yet they dominated Kentucky in Lexington at one point. And you were right about Brock Vandagriff. At one point,
did I not tell you? I said all season, everyone was talking about like, oh, they got Brock. I'm like, I've watched Brock for 3 years. Like, Brock, to me, first of all, it wasn't all on Brock. The offense line was horrendous for Kentucky. Horrendous. I mean, he was running for his life, but Brock was not battling Carson. For everyone who thought this was a quarterback competition between Brock and Carson, Brock was battling to keep his number 2 spot at Georgia with him and Gunner. So and he was somewhat losing that competition to Gunner. So this wasn't oh my God, we got the guy that barely lost out to Carson Beck. Like, no, you got the guy that if he would have stayed at Georgia, was trending to be the number 3 guy, not the number 2 guy. So like this is not all on Brock, but the offense as a whole, besides the receivers, is hot garbage. Offensive line, running game, and I think Brock is an average thrower, and you can't get the ball to receivers if you can't throw it.
So I mean, the thing is, where I was going with the Brock angle is simply that Kentucky was so terrified of throwing the ball, or had lacked so much faith in throwing the ball, that down 10-0 at one point, they ran the ball 17 times in a row. They ran it 17 times in a row. And just at the height of comedy, on 3rd and 3, they tried to throw a slant. It gets spiked into the ground. And those two drives, those 17 runs, you get 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they should have kept running because it's all they got all day.
Yep.
But yeah, man, Mark Stoops makes $8 million a year for that.
Yeah.
$8-9 million a year for that, dude. I've seen enough. I'm like Sean Payton. I've seen enough. Get him out of here.
And I saw South Carolina firsthand last week versus Old Dominion, and I walked away from that game saying, good defense, really good edge rushers, really good edge rushers, really good front seven. So like, yeah, maybe they can give Kentucky some issues, but like, there's no way that South Carolina on the road against what we perceive as a good defense and a good front is going to be able to score points against Kentucky. And Lenore Sellis was 11 of 15, 159, 2 touchdowns. Like I was, and I know Beamer afterwards in his press conference was really irritated with all the media. Like, you guys should not have believed the narrative after week 1. Like, all we can go by, Beamer, is what we saw, and what we saw was not good football. It's like you can't get mad. You can't get mad at the media for us assessing how you looked in week 1. Like, that is the only data point we have. Now we have a second data point, so we can readjust our evaluation of the Lenore Sellers. But like, week 1 was not good football. Your receivers didn't look good. Lenore's didn't look good. You should have lost to Old Dominion. So like, you can't tell me that we should not have been hard on you after week 1. Good for you for using it as fuel to then go and get a massive win on the road versus Kentucky. And now you're 2-0 and freaking game days going to South Carolina LSU, which is just tells you that week 3 is just, I guess, not a very good week if that's where game day's going. But
relax though, because again, the most calm seeming weeks always end up being the craziest. And that's indicative. I love you called it a second data point. I agree. Yesterday, I want to celebrate the second data point that was week 2 of college football, because there were just so many great games. You had, the 11 a.m. slate. Let me try to remember that bad. You had Georgia Tech and Syracuse absolutely battling in Syracuse. Fran Brown living up to all of the offseason hype. Kyle McCord playing out of his mind. You had Oklahoma State and Arkansas in a double OT brawl in which Arkansas made as many mistakes as you can make to blow a game. But also it's weird for the Hogs because they should probably be pretty excited about Taylon Green. Like, they absolutely have a guy back there. You had
obviously Texas, Michigan.
Yeah, Texas, Michigan was kind of, it was kind of whatever. Oh, you had Bowling Green punching Penn State in the mouth and not letting up and giving Penn State everything they want, to the point where we're putting Penn State on fraud watch. Like, it was a great amazing.
It was a great weekend.
Then you had Northern Illinois pull off the upset against Notre Dame and earning the upset. Nothing fluky. Speaking of second data points, Notre Dame goes into College Station, Aaron, week 1, beats Texas A&M. We were all kind of picking them to lose. They were the underdogs. They go in there. They looked physical. They looked dominant. The defense shut down Wigman. Looks very much like the defense we were promised. Yeah, Riley Leonard didn't do much, but it's like that A&M defense. Of course, Riley Leonard didn't do much, right? They still ran the ball.
He didn't make mistakes.
Yeah. And then so Notre Dame, all of a sudden, they come out of week 1. They're a top 5 team. Everybody's already putting them in a playoff spot because of their schedule. And then Northern Illinois shows up in South Bend and just fucking fights him.
Yeah.
Tooth, claw, nail, fights him. And the ref at the end of the game, did you see the ending sequence or were you on a call?
No, I was watching it. Yep.
The referee that spotted that ball at the end of the game is absolutely a practicing Catholic. Unreal how they tried to cheat my boy, Northern Illinois. If you didn't watch it, so Northern Illinois has 3rd and 1. Notre Dame has 1 timeout left. There's about like 40 seconds left, somewhere around there. Northern Illinois clearly gets the first down. I mean, the guy falls 2 yards past the yellow line. The ref inexplicably runs about a half yard short and just spots it short. Of course, the coach is like, I want to challenge the spot. So they challenge it. And because like sometimes we're so beholden to our rules, it has to be fucking dumb. So like you challenge it and there's no clear evidence because it's a pile of people, right? So like we can't see where the ball is, even though you can see his body clearly shooting, but whatever, that doesn't matter. So they review it, they still don't do it, and then Aaron, they don't wind the clock. It's 3rd and 1. It's 4th down. The clock should be running. They ran the ball. They don't wind the clock, so Notre Dame isn't even forced to use their last timeout. But shout out Northern Illinois. They did what they did all day. They overcame adversity, fucking nailed the kick to take a 2-point lead. They kick it off. Good return by Notre Dame. And then they just do what they did all day. They shut Riley Leonard the fuck down.
Yeah. Well, and then that's what Notre Dame has to be from week 1. And that's, like I said, that's the big difference from week 1 to week 2. It's like, okay, how does Notre Dame lose this game? Notre Dame is, I still believe, better equipped offensively with athletes, but they don't have a quarterback that is going to wow you throwing the football. You have a quarterback that is going to get you first downs with his legs, that may hit a couple passes here or there, but it's a quarterback that can't make mistakes. Riley Leonard is not good enough to overcome 2 interceptions. So if you go watch my Nico breakdown, Nico throws an interception. But guess what? After Nico throws his first interception, he throws a 50-yard dot to squirrel right down the sideline. Nico gets a second interception. Next possession, throws another touchdown to a tight end when he rolls out. Like, Nico can overcome mistakes because he's that good of a quarterback. And this is for a lot of quarterbacks out there. Riley is not that caliber. Riley is a grinder. Riley is a hard-nosed, blue-collar, give him the football, tough kid, get your first downs with his legs, but don't make mistakes. And when you make mistakes in a close ball game, the other team's going to win. The other team's going. Notre Dame is not good enough and not explosive enough at the quarterback position to blow teams out. You're going to have close ball games, so you have to win the turnover battle.
That
like
is
they did week
crazy,
1, and they didn't
win
week 2.
It's just
He's not a good
crazy.
thrower.
No, I know that. We said it going into A&M. He's like the 9th least accurate quarterback in the FBS last year or something like that, right? But they ran the ball on A&M. Like by the end of the game, they had broken A&M in College Station. They put up like 23, and then you can't run it against Bowling Green. College football's a fickle mistress, man. You can never take anything for granted. That said, we'll play tomorrow on Synapse when I gather all my favorite moments from the weekend. But if you haven't seen it, go look at, and we'll play it tomorrow. You can just wait till then if you want. But go watch the entire interview of the Northern Illinois coach after the game. He's crying. It's fantastic. It's raw human emotion, and it's one of those special moments that lets you know why this game is so special. And you mentioned Leonard, and this is a weird launching off point for the point I want to make because he maybe didn't have the best day yesterday, but the transfer portal has led us to a golden age of college football. I mean, I was really struck in the 11 a.m. slate yesterday. And this is just in the 11 a.m. slate. And I go through the rest of the day if we wanted to. But I was struck by how much good football was being played by guys that would have been buried in another era. I watched Kyle McCord and Haynes King fucking battle a 31-28 torrid affair where both teams had their runs of dominance. Both teams made it exciting, and McCord and company come out. I watched Taylon Green. Yes, Arkansas lost, but still. I watched Taylon Green single-handedly bring a program back from the dead and give them hope and reignite the Hogs. I watched Connor Bazelak. That's right, guys. Connor Bazelak, who This is a great. So I tweeted about it's 2024 and Connor Bazelak just took a 17-7 lead on Penn State, and my guy SEC Mike pointed out Connor Bazelak was at Mizzou before Eli Drinkwitz, and Eli Drinkwitz is now the third longest tenured. He's the third most tenured coach in the SEC.
Wow.
And I watched Connor Bazelak and Bowling Green send Penn State fans to the psych ward and put the Nittany Lions on fraud watch. I watched Quinn Ewers bring Texas all the way. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. The portal has led to a ability to fill holes, to spread out talent where everybody's getting better. And it is fantastic to watch.
100%. 100%. Speaking of that ACC game between Georgia Tech and Syracuse, I thought that was one of the best games of the afternoon of the entire day, honestly. Like, Cal McCord to start this season has been one of the hottest quarterbacks for the first 2 weeks of the season. That's like no slouch of a Georgia Tech team either. Like, I know the first game against Ohio is Ohio, but like Georgia Tech has shown us a lot through the first 2 weeks. Like, I've been really impressed with the Yellow Jackets. Like, to be able to have that as your second game, go in there, 381, 4 touchdowns, and the stats are great. The stats are phenomenal, but the film is even better. Like the placement of the football, the accuracy, the anticipation. Like, he looks like, I know he worked with Jordan Palmer, who we had on the show like a few months ago. I know he worked with him during the offseason, but the fundamentals look good. The arm strength looks significantly better than it was, at Ohio State. Like, he looks like a guy that was like a mid power 4 quarterback to now has worked his way to that next tier type guy in a really good system with some good talent around him. And what did Fran Brown say? Like, I got to send a bottle of champagne to Ryan Day at Ohio State because he looks like a dude, man. Like, Kyle McCord looks like a dude. And I'm going to, try and get into his tape this week for my family up in Syracuse, who is all excited. Like, my phone was blowing up for my uncle. Like, we got a quarterback. We got a quarterback. Let's go.
That's got to be that's got to be the Jewish side of the family, huh?
No, it's the Catholic side.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The Jewish side's from Miami. Yeah. What? Dad's from Syracuse, mom's from Miami.
I feel like that's a bit of an upset. How about the weapons? Trevor Pena and Arondé Gadsden. Arondé Gadsden is a monster. That guy is fucking huge.
He's a receiver.
Strong. I know. Yeah, he's a tight end. I'm using air quotes, guys. One of the best tight ends in the country. But that dude, that's one of the better receiving duos in the conference and maybe in the entire country. And honestly, the score's not as close as it seemed.
No,
because they'd firmly taken over that game, and then Georgia Tech scores, gets an onside kick somehow, scores again. But then on that must-have it, 3rd and 10 to close out the game, where do they go? They go to Gadsden. McCord high points it, game over. But again, credit Georgia Tech, a good team. And Georgia Tech showing the third phase of the game matters. Georgia Tech got a blocked field goal, blocked punt, and recovered an onside kick.
Haynes Keen's still playing well too. I mean, Haynes is looking. I mean, really good start the season for him. Like, these are 2 quarterbacks. I think you said it best. Like, 2 quarterbacks that, maybe more Haynes than Kyle McCord, but like, I had Haynes King for dead after A&M. Like, this kid is terrible. This kid is not good enough to play the Power 4 level. He's a good athlete, but he can't throw the football. And he transformed his throwing style. He's more efficient. He's more compact. He's more accurate, stronger arm, all that. Like, he has really done a complete 180 from where he was at A&M to now at Georgia Tech. And I continue to be impressed not only with his throwing, but like, he's obviously, as we knew, a hell of a runner, 11.2 yard average. And then Kyle McCord doing what he's doing from last year at Ohio State to Syracuse. Like, it was the battle of like, screw the pass, second opportunity quarterbacks. And both these guys have started off the season really strong.
And I would say this, it was also kind of interesting because completely different styles, right?
Yeah.
Haynes King, a lot more short, a lot more kind of, get it to my guys in space so they make plays, a lot more kind of on the flank, side to side, running, pulling, whereas McCord's a bit more of a traditional quarterback, but it was great on both sides. So that was a really fun game. We said it was going to be Kansas State Tulane. That was one of the other ones I was reading. Kansas State Tulane was fantastic at Yeoman Stadium down there in New Orleans. Coming down at the very end, Tulane looking like they scored. OPI said not so fast. They end up losing that game. But I would say this. You're going to talk about a couple of great young quarterbacks. Now, I wasn't like I still got questions about Avery Johnson at Kansas State and that he doesn't look like he fully trusts his arm. His legs are great, and they took over that game at the end on the ground. And there was also a bad scoop and score that Tulane allowed that kind of changed the rhythm of that game. But Tulane's quarterback, Darian Mensah, looked fantastic. The redshirt freshman, that was the third string quarterback going into the offseason. And I know
they get Oklahoma next week too, man. Like that's gonna be an interesting game, Tulane and Oklahoma.
I agree, and I know that Tulane lost this game, and that Green Wave fans are going to be upset. But I think John Summerall is a great coach coming over from Troy, and I think Darian Mensah looks like a great quarterback. Tulane is going to be really good in the AAC, and I think their future, like if you have a quarterback and a coach, you can set yourself up for multiple years of great football, and that's what Tulane has. And so credit then to Kansas State in a big game where they're down on the road. This is a team that beat them when they won the Big 12 a couple of years ago to keep them out of any playoff conversations. Credit to them as well for, taking all those hits on the chin and sticking with it and finding a way to win that game.
100%. For those that are wondering why we didn't start off with Texas, Michigan, TBob and I did a separate full-on breakdown of that post-game yesterday, and maybe we'll touch on a little bit on this show or a little bit tomorrow as well. But like, if you want to hear our thoughts on that, obviously after you're done listening to us right now, go listen to that one that we released post show yesterday.
I mean, I'll just do one sentence on Texas, Michigan real quick. That was Texas.
Horns up.
Yeah. Hook 'em indeed. That was Texas announcing to the world that when you talk about contenders, like you talk about Georgia, you talk about Ohio State, that Texas has to be there. Texas has to be there right alongside anybody else in the entire country. That offense, because I still believe in Michigan's defense. Yes, their offense is okay, and so maybe we don't have the full measure of the Texas defense yet, but it definitely looks better than last year in the secondary. But that Texas offense looks unstoppable with Sark calling plays for Quinn, who looks so poised and so buttery smooth back there.
Buttery smooth is the exact words I would use to describe Quinn Ewers as well. His after what Shedeur looked like last night for Colorado, and we'll talk about that maybe next, along with Tennessee and NC State. But like he's top 2 Heisman, top 2 quarterback in the NFL draft.
No. I mean, I don't know about NFL draft, but Quinn Ewers is absolutely the Heisman favorite right now after yesterday.
Yeah, him and Cam. I still think I would still say
maybe
Cam has
the slave to the moment.
Yeah, I think Cam is the higher ceiling because of his playmaking ability. Like he's gonna have more Heisman-like moments.
Yeah.
But no, like I love Quinn. I think Quinn may be the best pure thrower in college football, like just pure passing quarterback. But then he showed the athleticism on top of that too, which was so nice to see him getting outside the pocket and being creative.
I don't get how you quarterbacks do it.
What?
How do you navigate a pocket where, unless you're Carson Beck, everybody's taller than you? There's bodies flying all around. I can't even read a defense in a fucking video game. And Quinn Ewers is out here stepping up in the pocket.
You've gotten better. Come on.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
You've gotten better.
But that's been one of the funnest parts about this game is it really makes you, oh crap, I'm starting to wake up. It really makes you realize what just how tough it is. And here Quinn Ewers is moving around, dodging rushers, stepping up, and the whole time calmly surveying the field, finding the space, and then perfectly delivering the throw from whatever arm angle he has to. Shout out Colin Moore Magic for the $2 super chat.
And I agree with Savannah Jackson in the comment. Carson's Heisman moment will be in Tuscaloosa, then Seal Dawson.
You talk for 1 minute there.
Yeah, I'll ramble while you kind of get the baby settled. Carson has more Heisman games ahead of him than anyone else in the country. At Tuscaloosa, at Austin. What's up, little one? Oh, we have all the babies in the house.
If you're watching on YouTube, I have there's my daughters Odette and Alice right here. You want to say hi? Odie, say hi.
Say hi. Hey, ladies. Hey. Sorry that you have to deal with your dad all day today, solo, but you'll survive.
Relax. We're gonna have a great day. We're gonna go to church. Alice has a soccer game today. Little pink pandas, baby.
Let's go.
You excited?
Oh, yes, Carson has the most Heisman moments.
The show. I love y'all.
Carson has the most Heisman moments this season. All right, let's rapid fire so he can weed out.
No, I
Let's
don't
talk
want to rap. I
Colorado.
want to keep going. I want to keep.
No, no,
I want to keep.
I said rapid fire almost.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go to your Nebraska team real quick.
Okay. So anytime a game that I really want to watch is at the same time as LSU, I can never give it the attention I deserve. Because if you saw what I tweeted yesterday, my setup when I'm in my office is incredible. I am locked in. I have 5 game going anytime. I mute, I expand. I'm like locked in. I had Nebraska on at the bar last night, and I was, kind of bound because I have to go to the bar to watch the LSU games, whatever. So I'm kind of, watching out the corner of the eye. So I cannot wait to really deep dive it today. But I've told you all week that was going to be the most electric stadium in the entire country. And I guess, I guess it was a little non-committal. I chose Nebraska to win, but it was obvious from the beginning of that game that there was no way in hell that Colorado was getting out of that stadium with a dub.
No. And I know Nebraska may be different because you say well, Nebraska showed the game plan to beat Colorado defensively. It is drop in coverage, play zone, don't let the big plays happen, and get after the quarterback with 4. And they did that, but they also have big old dudes up front. Like they had those guys last year. They have now you can't just say oh, this is what we're gonna do. You still have to have the players to be able to do that. But that is the game plan. If Colorado can't be explosive in the pass game, they can't run it, man. 0.7 yards per carry, 22 attempts, 16 yards for Colorado. And that was with a light box. I talk about heavy boxes, light boxes. They were playing with 5 and 6 man boxes defensively for Nebraska, which as an offense, you're let's just run it and 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 run it because there's 2 high safeties, and that's not what you want to go against if you're a quarterback, but they can't run it. So if I am watching this tape and I do have a somewhat even decent defensive line, I'm just going to play cover 2. I'm going to sit back and say, guess what? Drive the field on me. Slow this game down. And Nebraska did that. They dominated the line of scrimmage on offense. Raiola didn't make a mistake. He didn't let the moment become too big for him.
So we said,
and they ran the ball well. That is the recipe. And I look at Colorado now this year, and not only do I say the same thing as I thought of last year towards when things really got bad, but you look at them now and just say I don't think they are a bowl team. I don't think they're good enough.
But they're not good enough. We didn't think they were a bowl team coming in, though. Looking at the schedule,
we thought they were close. We thought if they get better, they're going to be that 5-6 win team, pushing a bowl. But with that schedule and the way they looked yesterday, I think they are bottom of the Big 12.
Yeah. And what a moment for Nebraska. On the big stage, they've been, like I said, they're like the Israelites, your people, Aaron, wandering the desert for 40 years, looking for sustenance, looking for a quarterback. And Dylan Raiola is the land of milk and honey. 23 of 30 for 185 and a tud may not seem that exciting, but like you said, you know what he didn't do? No fumbles, no picks,
no pick six.
And so that's what I'm saying. And so that pick 6 felt very EA college football 25, by the way. That shit hurt there, but
it was so late. You cannot double, triple hitch, throw a hitch route to the field, back up in your end zone when the defense knows that you're just trying to get the ball out of your hands, so they're just sitting on everything. That was one of the worst throws I've seen Shadur make. If you're an elite quarterback, you can't make that kind of mistake in that kind of football game. That was piss poor.
And Nebraska trusted the trenches and the quality of their players, which on a man-to-man basis we knew were better than Colorado, and they come out. But I would have liked them to maybe put up some more points in the second half. But again, they didn't really need to. They need to push it. You're up 28-0, whatever.
Yeah, and I don't want to I don't think you want to put Raiola in a situation where a mistake could happen. He's still
that's
making his second career start. Let's just get out of here with a win and build that's a huge confidence lift for that football team as they go forward.
Get to super chat.
Let me get to super chat real quick. Aaron, it was great at seeing you. This is Colin More Magic. Appreciate the super chat at the Ole Miss game. I hate our D gave up pass yards like they did, so don't doubt us. Hotty toddy, love the show. Ole Miss looks good. That's another team. Like I walked away from yesterday, and I know Miss played once again, Middle Tennessee State. But like this SEC's got some top heavy teams like Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, Ole Miss. I mean, I don't want to like completely throw Alabama out of the conversation just because they didn't look good for 3 quarters versus USF. But like,
Yeah, remember last year we threw them out the conversation because they didn't look good against USF, and look what happened, right?
Exactly.
But we'll get there. I tweeted this last night, and I hate that it's true. But you know who Piper Perry is?
Mm-mm.
Ole Miss is looking like they're looking at LSU, like LSU is Piper Perry, and it's black.com. Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin are going to skull fuck LSU when they play. And it's going to be in Tiger Stadium, and it's going to be a huge game because Ole Miss is going to be undefeated. Everything's bad. And I think the best D lineman got hurt, Guillory, last night. Ole Miss looks fantastic. Jackson Dart looks like actually, if we're talking Heisman, I'm not going to put like Dart is floating around the conversation. You said Beck has all of his Heisman moments ahead of him. Dart is not going to have a big game that we're going to care about, really. I don't think until LSU, but Jackson Dart looks like. I mean, he's just again. You can only play the guys that line up across from you, and he's been perfect in these first 2 weeks.
It's not fair what they have on offense. I mean, Trey Harris, unbelievable. Juice, the tight ends, the running backs, offense lines improve, defenses improve. Like there was such a sitting down with Lane and the coordinators on Friday and talk with them. Like you could just feel this sense of confidence of like, holy shit, like we finally have a complete team. And like there's still some weaknesses we saw a little bit in the back end for the defense, but overall that defense is improved. The offensive line is improved. Like what got Ole Miss last year versus Georgia and Alabama is like they were not big enough and physical enough at the line of scrimmage. Seeing them in person and talking with the coaching staff, they are right there. Maybe not as big or as physical, maybe as say like a Georgia or Texas right now. But they make like they've closed the gap enough to where now Quinn Ewers is going to have the ability to find those playmakers on the outside to open up the run lanes. Like 100%. Ole Miss is not only like we thought of Ole Miss as just a playoff team. I think Ole Miss is 100% right now an SEC championship caliber football team, along with Georgia and Texas and Tennessee.
I think that it's interesting because Georgia has the player advantage over those other three, but the other three have the schematic advantage, I would argue. But that's a bit by design with Georgia. I get it. They want to run a more pro-style offense, but Heupel spreading you out, threatening the flanks, Sark I can't even make heads or tails of Sark's offense. It's so good. It's just so misdirect. It's like, look at this tennis ball. Look at here. Look at dog. I don't know which way I'm supposed to look.
Who would you take right now? Because I'm torn. Because I love both, and I think
who's both?
Sark and Lane of offensive game planning. And I'm gonna leave Tennessee out of it because Tennessee's offense is just so unique. Like I'm just
it's different. More of like Sark and Lane's feel similar to my kind of
very similar. I think Sark is a little bit ahead right now.
I would say that's kind of
a little bit. I mean,
I think that's accepted, and he's like done it in the NFL and stuff, so he tends to get more credit for it. So, yeah, but again, it's the gap is such that is there like the gap there is probably so small as to be inconsequential, right?
I think I lean more Sark a little bit too because they do it without having to use tempo. Like part of what's so difficult about going against Ole Miss is they use so much tempo. Sark strictly does it through schematics. Like it is pro style tempo with just like we're gonna out scheme you. We're like Lane, yes, they're out scheming and they're getting guys open, but a lot of it is because they are going so fast too, and defenses can't keep up.
That is interesting though, because as good as all those schemes are, Georgia still feels like the favorite because barely, the gap is closing, but simply because their players are just so good. Their players are just so good. All right, I'm just going to pull up the top. I have the top 25 scores. Oh, by the way, guys, Nebraska has a very good chance to be 7-0 going in to the Ohio State game.
Mhm.
They have Northern Iowa, Illinois, Purdue. Rutgers will be a good game. Then they got Indiana and then Ohio State. All right.
Let's hit the Tennessee NC State game, and I'll start on this one first because I know you were somewhat zoned into LSU.
Yeah, this is another one that I was kind of having a side watch.
Yeah, Tennessee is why I just alluded to. Like, it's not just Georgia, it's not just Texas for the SEC. Like, Ole Miss is in the conversation, and Tennessee is firmly in the conversation.
Yep.
Their defense is tremendous, and we've been trying to tell you this all season. This is why me personally, when we had the conversation of like, is it Missouri? Because we're all like, okay, Ole Miss is in the playoffs. Like, but if there's only 4 SEC teams, is it Missouri or Tennessee? And a lot of people are picking Missouri because the schedule's like, no, Tennessee's the better football team. And I still like Missouri, and I think Missouri's a 10-2 team, and they're going to be in the conversation. But like, Tennessee is the better football team.
Tennessee has James
Tennessee's
Pierce.
the better football team on both sides of the football. They're the better team, and they have the more elite quarterback. Yeah, he's greener. Yeah, he hasn't played as many games as Brady has played, but Nico is proving to us why he's at an elite level. He makes he made a couple mistakes, but then he bounced right back with big plays. And that was a very difficult defense. Like, I broke down the film once again. Go watch the tape. They dropped 8T probably about 70 to 80% of the time.
Really? So they were trying to do him like Shader.
Yeah, it was a 3-3-5, and it was drop 8. Which, but guess what?
Again,
opposite of Colorado, Tennessee ran it for 250 though. Like, they show that, like, we can, if you want to do that shit and you want to back up and play coverage, we'll just beat it down your fucking throat.
But Tennessee, but Tennessee, but they always fucking what? No. But Tennessee, they always like run the ball though, right? Like, that's it's that classic thing where if you listen to enough like talking heads, it's like, how many times can people say this? But we always do. But it's like, actually, Ole Miss likes to run the ball. Actually, Tennessee likes to run the ball. Like, which is a bit surprising to me that then you would choose to drop 8 when, like, I think Tennessee's like led the SEC in rushing or damn near for the last like 2 years. Which again,
Sampson's a beast. The offensive line is one of the best offensive line in the SEC. Like, to me, I think they were hoping that Nico would continue maybe to make mistakes in the pass game, but like, you can't give up 250 yards rushing and expect to win a football game.
51-10. Yikes.
Which, listen, we expected that because wasn't Grayson McCall in that offense did not look good in week 1.
Yeah.
And going against a better defense, we were anticipating this was going to be the case, and it played out perfectly. But it's still good to see that, like, Tennessee going against something that, like, you don't see that defense a lot in the SEC. Like, you don't, and it is as a quarterback, it's a little bit tricky because you look up and there's 3 safeties lined up deep. It looks like a Tampa 2. There's not a lot of holes. But I give Nico credit, man. Like, it wasn't a perfect game. He missed a couple of shots deep. Obviously, the 2 picks, the one, his arm got knocked. But overall, I thought like he ran the ball well, 65 yards rushing, and still a really efficient game. Really efficient game against that type of defense.
It's crazy, man. Heupel has legitimately brought Tennessee all the way back.
Yep.
Like Dirk Douglas says, can't wait to see Tennessee, Ole Miss, Mizzou go against SEC defenses. NC State's an SEC defense. It's an SEC caliber defense that Tennessee cooked up yesterday. Okay, other games in the top 25. Miami rolls again, looking absolutely dominant against Florida A&M. Doesn't really matter, but take care of business. I didn't get to watch this one yet. I'm gonna have to catch up today. But Illinois upsetting Kansas.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one.
One of the offseason darlings, beating Kansas 23-17. Very disappointing for Leipold and company. Huge win for Burt. Mizzou take your business 38 over Buffalo. Alabama 42-16 over South Florida, but
did not look like that.
Halfway through the fourth quarter, that game was 14-13. That was I'm not going to overreact to this game because the same thing happened last year. We said Alabama sucked, and then look what happened. They ended up getting really good, but a fucking scary moment for Kalen DeBoer early on here, that you would have the day in which you're celebrating the naming of Nick Saban Field, that here you are doing an interview in the fourth quarter with the LED lights popping crimson, and it's 14-13. That was a lot of pressure on DeBoer in that moment. Credit to him for pulling away in a crazy way late. But South Florida, I guess Alabama just needs to stop scheduling South Florida.
Yeah, they didn't. I tweeted that last night. Like, enough with scheduling South Florida. At one point, I think this was in the third quarter, maybe Alabama was averaging 1.7, 1.9 yards per carry, and USF was averaging 4.5, 4.9 yards per carry.
How is that possible?
I don't know.
Like,
Jalen,
you're literally twice the size of the human beings across from you.
Twice the size.
How is that possible?
South Florida's D-line was dictating the pace, dictating the line of scrimmage for 3 quarters. I mean, they were in the backfield. They were getting after Jalen. Jalen had no running lanes. Jalen looked lost at times throwing the football. I really can't wait to dive into this one a little bit later and break it down from a quarterback perspective of like what went wrong early for Jalen. Because like once again, like if you look at the stat line, then like if you did not watch this game, you're just like, oh, they won 42-16, and Jalen was 16-26 and 194 and 2 touchdowns, and they ended up running the ball for 199 yards and 4.7 yards per carry. Like, what a great game by Alabama. Like, like that happened all in about like a 12-minute period where like it got wild for Alabama and they ran away with it, but they could not move the football. Guys weren't getting open. Jalen looked confused. A lot of turnovers, fumble snapping at the goal line. Like, it was as ugly as it could be for Alabama. And credit for them for like pulling away, but like it was not one that you walk away confident.
My Milroe takes about him taking these massive leap in the offseason they're not looking like great takes today. But again, we got time, but they're not looking like great takes today. Alabama took
4 touchdowns. We say that he had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, but
it didn't look good. It wasn't.
The context matters. Yeah, you gotta look better against South Florida, especially when Nico's out here doing what he did against NC State and everything else we've talked about.
Again, like I still want to go back and watch the receivers because we always want to put the blame on the quarterback, but Alabama has had a receiver deficiency for years now, like 3 or 4 years. So, I know a lot of pressure is going to be on this Ryan Williams freshman kid to go out there and ball out because he had a nice first game and a nice long touchdown. But like, I want to see like, was it truly, because you can't see on the tape the all 22, like, was it truly Jalen not seeing the field, or was it these receivers weren't winning one-on-one? And it goes hand in hand. So I think partly due is probably going to be on Jalen. I think some of it is going to be on these receivers are still lacking the elite playmaking ability that we were used to seeing for Alabama for so long.
Yeah. I know I tried to hand wave that away, but you're looking more and more right. Odie, I love you, baby.
Oh, sweet.
Let's talk about Oklahoma State and Arkansas, because that was one of the biggest games of yesterday. Arkansas should have won that game in about 1 million different ways. Talon Green is awesome. The Hogs have a quarterback, and he's giant, and he can run, and he can throw, and he made all the plays to win. His team let him down. Speaking of receivers kind of letting you down. No, I know he missed the throw in double OT or whatever, but like early on in the game, he had one of the most incredible scramble throws that I've ever seen in my entire life. But it's on the receiver's hands, the end zone. He drops it. Next thing you know, the next play ends up being a pick six. And that was kind of the story of the day for Arkansas. Late in the game, they fumble a punt to set up Oklahoma State with a short field. And then it's interesting, though. Ollie Gordon was a non-factor in this game. Alan Bowman, credit to him, proved something to me here where whatever Arkansas was doing game plan-wise, they clearly convinced the Gundy and company that Gordon just wasn't going to be the answer. And they put the game firmly in Bowman's hands. And he continued to make play after play and come through. And he ends up winning them that game. Oklahoma State winning that game through the air when it looked like for much of the afternoon they were going to be dead in the water.
It was as good of a game as Arkansas could have played besides the turnovers. I mean, it was they dominated. They were the better football team. And the stats don't lie either. Like they total yards 648 to 385.
What?
Rushing yards 232 to 59.
Just give me Taylor Green's stat line. Give me Taylor. Do you have it? Do you have Taylor Green's full stat line?
I think 3 turnovers to 1. Taylor Green stat line 26 to 45, 416 and then another 61 yards rushing. Like they dominated this football game. Turnovers, the muff punt, the penalty in overtime where they body slammed the guy. And I mean, everyone has their opinion on was that a personal penalty or not, whatever. But it should never have gotten to that point. Missed field goals. Like it should never have gotten to that point. They were the better team. They were dominating the football game. That was a perfect example, coach's tape of this is how you give a game away. This is how you just don't know how to win a football game with the mistakes that Arkansas made. And I'm kind of bummed because I have Arkansas this weekend. It's like I was hoping watching this game, like, damn, Arkansas's, and I still think they're really good. But like it would have been nice to cover them after a huge win on the road against a top 20 team, ranked team in Oklahoma State. But like I agree with you, like Alan Bowman, terrible in the first half. You know, I think it had more to do with just Arkansas's defense was all over the place. But, you know, he found a way to make some plays in the second half.
He was consistent. The stats aren't like something that are going to jump off the page, but he was consistently moving the ball at will in that second half against Arkansas and seemed to be gaining in momentum as the game went on. You know what this was, though, Aaron? This is fucking Bobby P. Bobby P played this thing. Take over. Machiavellian, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Showing you, look, the offense is good. I chose Taylor Green. I made this happen. But look at these crucial mistakes. That's not me. It's Sam. I'm here, guys. I'm back. Sorry, Pittman. You're out. Just a masterclass of how to piss off the fan base and make them want to fire the head coach, but love the OC.
Love the offense.
Shout out Bobby Petrino.
Doing it big.
What a legend. Bro, how about Iowa State, Iowa?
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
there's no way Iowa State should be able to score that many points that late in order to beat Iowa.
So crazy hearing Gary and Nessler on this call. It just feels wrong.
Yeah.
It just, I'm still not used to it. I don't like it. The music, everything. It was causing some cognitive dissonance in me yesterday. But
are you liking the ESPN music yet? Are you liking it yet? Are you still like
it? Literally is so whatever. I don't even think about it. Like it means nothing to me. It just doesn't stand out at all. But I tried telling you last week. Everybody's talking about I was 40 points. I was 40 points. Those points looked fraudulent last week.
They were winning 6-0 in the first half.
They did not look good. Cade McNamara's falling off his back foot, throwing up the ball, and it's like barely being like they did not look good. Yeah, they dropped 4. They did not look good. And lo and behold, Iowa's offense still sucks. And what a job. I gotta be honest. I gotta be fully honest here. I turned off this game after Iowa got the tush push first down. So I thought the game was over.
Yeah.
So credit Iowa State not giving up, playing it perfect, calling the 3 timeouts, getting the punt, getting a huge play to get in field goal range, and then knocking in a 50-yard plus game winner.
Last one, then like you, I got to go roll upstairs to go take care of the babies because I think they're about to drive their mom nuts. I don't think either of us really had eyeballs in this one. At least I didn't. I got to watch it today because it was on freaking Peacock. Like this has been back-to-back weeks where like Oregon has not been on like TV for us to watch, unfortunately. So you have to like go back the next day and find a way to watch it.
I told you, bro.
Is
broad watch.
But like this was like at least on the offensive side, like the stats look good. I mean, they're not running the ball well. Like the offensive, like Dylan is exactly what we thought he would be. Like he's been really efficient and he's looked good in the offense from based on like looking at highlights and stats. But like defensively, they gave 221 yards rushing. Like, where is the physicality that Dane Lanning brought to Oregon and what this team was built on? And this is an SEC caliber team. And like, this is going to be the Alabama of the West or the Georgia of the West. Like, it has not been that through the first 2 weeks. I know they're a little bit banged up, but like, still watching these other teams. I mean, look, I say that watching other teams in the Big Ten, but like, it's still really now to me like it's Ohio State and everyone else. Where like before I thought it was Ohio State and Oregon. Now it's like, okay, Ohio State has passed the eyeball test even against lesser competition. Oregon has been playing their food for 2 weeks, and maybe there are some deficiencies for Oregon.
I agree with Mr. Delask here, bro. Watch out for USC, dog. I said it last week.
Yeah.
My week 1 hot take. was that USC looked more Big Ten ready than Oregon. I said USC is more Big Ten ready. I should have said looked if I wanted to be like, more level headed. But USC calmly taking care of business 48-0 against Utah State. Guys, 0. And you're like, TBob, Utah State. Yeah, but what did you think about USC last year? Bro, D'Anton Lynn is a dog. The new USC DC. Like, if you're a Trojan fan, you have to be thanking God that you no longer have to deal with Alex Grinch.
Yep.
Okay, other games to hit on here. Mizzou handles Buffalo 38-0. Miami looks great again, like we said, rolls. Ohio State, whatever, 56 here against Western Michigan.
What an addition to Woody Marks, too. The fifth-year guy from Mississippi State. I mean, he's been a great addition at the running back spot. And Miller Moss is efficient. Yeah.
LSU beats Nichols 44-21, but it didn't look great. They lose their best D lineman. I didn't see this one. I got to go watch this one today. Oklahoma barely escaped Houston 16-12.
Oh, offense not loving week 2 from your boy Jackson Arnold.
Oklahoma and Dylan Gabriel are missing Jeff Lebby. Even though I don't think that went well for Mississippi State last night.
78 yards rushing though too. Like it's an offensive line that has a combined 6 starts heading into the game, and you're going against Houston at home, and you had 78 yards rushing, 2.8 yards average. Jackson looked rattled at times, not efficient. They do not look good on offense. Defense look good, made plays, but like Houston's quarterback is not very good at all. Don't look at the stats. Like it wasn't a good win at all. And even they were talking about it afterwards too, as a coaching staff and listen to the press conference. It was something you walk away and say, like, similar to like the Oklahoma State Arkansas game. We probably shouldn't have won that game by how bad we played, but we did.
Yeah.
So we walk away saying we're 2-0, and now we got to get ready for a good Tulane team next weekend.
Yeah. It's just every week as an Oklahoma fan, you got to ask yourself, do you believe in Brent Venables? And the answer remains unclear. And to be fair, guys, before the Oklahoma fans come for me as an LSU fan, LSU fans are starting to have to ask themselves that every week about Brian Kelly. Yeah. Arizona beats Northern Arizona 22-10. The only thing that surprised me is that I thought Tedero McMillan would have scored 22 alone. So surprised that they didn't have more offense. And I think we pretty much hit everything. Are there any other games to hit on? Michigan State, Maryland. Great game in the Big Ten yesterday. Michigan State gives John Smith his first Big Ten win on a walk-off field goal. And I told y'all, what did Michigan State say? They said they had a quarterback. And Aiden Childs was fantastic yesterday. Yeah, he made a lot of mistakes, but he made a lot of huge plays as well to win that game on the road.
And I got a soft spot for it's been a little rocky start to the season for your boy. So let's
Childs?
He's 3 touchdowns to 5 interceptions this season. So let's
he threw 3 picks yesterday.
I know, but I'm saying on the season,
he also threw 3 touchdowns. You look at his game. I don't give a shit about the season. Look up his stats yesterday.
Like, to start the season off,
he's a freshman.
I know, but still,
they have a quarterback. Whatever. Yeah. You're a hater. Just wait.
He's a sophomore.
Okay, whatever. Just wait. Okay. I call him Chili's because I love him. I told my wife I love you.
Fajita trios.
I told my wife I love you for the first time in front of a Chili's in high school. That fucking spin dip just had me feeling romantic. How can you not be romantic about Chili's? Chili's, do you want to sponsor the show? Come on,
please.
All right. That'll do it. There's your full week 2 recap. Our first Sunday morning recap. We do these every single Sunday. And all of you was like, oh, TBob, how are you awake? Because I'm a fucking dog. Okay. And if you want to hoot with the owls at night, you got to soar with the eagles during the day. I'm about to bring my 3 kids to church alone. My wife's in Shreveport. You know what I'm going to do after that? I'm going to bring them their fucking soccer game. Go Pink Pandas. You sons of bitches can't even have 6 beers without feeling like shit the next morning. Guess what? I can have 12. And I drank 8 mezcals last night. Built different. Look at this shirt. Bub T's Tamale House. The best fucking tamales in North Louisiana. Show some respect.
All right, everyone. See you
Love
tomorrow.
ya. See
Live,
you.
1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central. Don't forget, QB breakdowns will be coming all today, tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So go check them out as well. Peace.
Later, guys.